You know what? This episode's basically unairable anyway. Let's just rip the Band-Aid.
This is going to be a Patreon exclusive.
This whole episode.
Quentin here. I'm fine, babe.
This is Ethan. I'm gonna go. Don't worry, Devin's here. This is time. Let's rock and roll.
Welcome to the Power Up Brothers podcast, where some of us sound the same and some of our points don't matter. That's all I got.
That made a lot of sense, and I'm glad that.
And
I'm glad you brought it up.
I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you for
thank you for doing a wonderful intro. And now you can cut to our unfinished table.
Look at this.
Look at this.
You'll notice
nice
It's
table.
mostly done.
Devin died while making this table,
Yeah.
and that's why he didn't finish
He
it.
worked so hard on
That's
the
why.
table that he
Died of
like
exhaustion.
John Henry. He gave out.
Died of exhaustion.
he was working on the table and then
Took him right out. Took him
got him
right
in there.
out. We're already off
So
to
we're
a
gonna
great
leave-
start.
We're gonna
leave
Devin,
his
Do we
chair.
want to just, Devin's gone. Do we
Cut
want to
all of
just
it
skip right to talking about Gilgamesh?
Cut all
We
of
can.
that out.
Okay.
this is no longer a video game podcast.
Excise
This
that.
is no longer a
The
video game
algorithm
podcast.
hates us enough already.
I'm sorry, buddy. It's not a video game podcast. It's a Gilgamesh and male love podcast.
I mean-
all right.
when was it not?
The game was rigged from the start.
When was
I
it?
don't
Against
know what
you.
video games aren't about that.
Yeah,
I know
that's
Metal
most
Gear
of them.
Solid is about that.
Yeah, I think that's most of them.
Yeah.
Probably. There's a real funny answer. Hang on, I got it.
You got it.
I got
Hold on.
it.
He's
This is riveting
Winding it up.
podcast.
Yeah.
He's winding up. He's winding.
So
Give
good.
me one here.
This is
Get well
NBA
soon,
2K.
NBA
You're a
2K.
dirty, horse-faced liar. That is exactly about the Epic of Gilgamesh.
No sport is heterosexual at all.
The Grecians invented them. They can't be.
The Greeks invented sports, right?
Can't be.
And nature invented male love. So, like,
But you
none
know
of
what nature didn't invent?
video games.
Or you.
Or
let's,
me.
Let's talk about the first.
Let's talk about you.
Me. Okay, this is now
you.
the,
Let's get
this
real.
is now the intervention
let's
podcast.
put your
That's the only
actual
thing you-
address
that
on.
is- that is the only thing you would like to talk about less than video games.
Yeah, correct.
This is the intervention podcast where
Yeah.
you all try to get me to live a healthier lifestyle.
true.
No,
Oh,
we
man.
gave up on that a long time
That's
ago.
fair.
No, I won't
We're
be
not
able to
worried
watch
about
this
that.
podcast.
We're not worried
That's
about
true. That's true. Well,
We got one. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go briefly to the nudes.
Hey, wait, that's not the section we do anymore. The nudes. That's illegal under the new laws.
The Geneva Convention.
Right? Under the new laws they make. I think
No,
they passed
I have
some
one
laws
piece
about
of news that I wanted to talk about amongst ourselves because it's the hot goss hitting the streets.
Right.
Have you out there? Have you canceled your Xbox Game Pass subscription yet?
Yeah.
Because it seems like everybody else has.
Yeah, I've actually got some news too. So
In their
I didn't
plan,
even
in their
remember. Thank
ongoing
you.
plan to kill their brand completely, Microsoft announced a 50%
50%. I mean,
price increase in there. So let me tell you, the globe was melting down recently because a handful of games, really just one game on the Switch 2 was enough for it to melt down, that it was increasing by about 16%.
Yeah, right. I've heard those.
By about 16% game price increase, melted down the globe, and then we went back to the old price for everything basically else forever. And some accessories went up too. And now
Horrible.
Microsoft saw this, and they saw the reaction to this, and they thought to themselves,
what to do.
in their wisdom, they thought to themselves, you know what? These are all digital games. Tariffs don't affect them. We have no scapegoats.
They literally said, "You didn't go far enough.
You didn't go far enough.
Didn't go far enough.
50%, baby. And guess what? We're removing a bunch of games from it.
You know, here's my point. Okay, so a game So you have a game on a server.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we'll say 1,000 servers even. Okay. And the amount of energy that it takes for you to wirelessly transmit
Right.
from those servers to purchasers, the buyers' computers,
Yeah.
their consoles, right, is negligible. It's
Yeah.
barely accounts for anything.
Right.
So when you purchase a digital game, it's at a near 100% markup.
Sure.
If you
They're not paying
purchased-
Walmart for
Right.
the digital game.
So
Right.
if you purchase anything digitally
Yeah.
at 100% of a markup, right?
Yeah.
You don't bat an eye. If you bought, a single shoelace for 100% of a markup, you'd riot, okay? This is how video games have tricked you, okay? The slop fest that it is has gotten you all to buy the slop.
What if? But have you considered that the digital price is the default price, and we're buying them at a discount? Actually,
Well, clearly that's
not a markup.
It can't be a discount because they increased it by 50%.
Well, now it's not.
Now
not. Now
no,
you
the
would
numbers
be,
are
if
all
you buy
crap.
the only way it's a good deal now is if you buy on average one game a month that would
Okay.
otherwise be on.
And these are
Game
Microsoft
Pass.
games.
Yeah,
right?
they would be on Game Pass.
They're
So
on
no
Game
no
Pass.
Sony, no
Yeah, right.
Nintendo.
And so what you're saying is these can be played on Windows?
Ghost of Note.
These can be played on Windows?
They can be played
You're-
on Windows.
okay.
On a window.
What you're telling me right now is that played on Windows
Yeah.
is a code word for easily can be stolen.
Right, yeah,
Or
that's
just get it
also
on
correct.
Steam. Like,
Or just get it on Steam. Just buy the games.
But with Game Pass, you get tons of games.
Here's the
right?
thing: I've had Game Pass before, and I really liked it. I wasn't subscribed right now just because I didn't have anything on there I wanted.
Yeah.
And I'm not one of those ever subscribers. I'll get it when I feel like it. But I thought it was really good. I thought it was fun.
Okay.
I love not owning my content, but when it came
on
to,
Steam either.
but if I really want something, I'll just buy it.
Yeah, but the not owning it thing, I think, is
You
kind of
technically don't.
I was going to say, I think it's kind of a silly argument, and the reason is that unless you're buying everything on GOG, you don't own anything ever.
That's true. Steam's pretty
right?
good about not taking your games away, even when they delist them.
No, but the second that Steam's service closes down,
that's
you won't
true.
have access.
But there's no
to
way I'm
any
going to
of
live
it.
that long. So,
Maybe not.
and neither are you.
None of us are going to
so-
survive it. Okay.
So
They're only going to be up for another 10 years.
yeah, minimum.
Yeah, they're going to be up to the end of this sentence.
Yeah, and our viewers are gone.
Gone. They were
miss-
never there.
The ICBMs have launched.
So,
Well, that is horrible.
yeah, it
but
was-
are we really shocked? It's not only is the gaming landscape.
I'm shocked at the amount.
The gaming landscape
'Cause
is a wasteland, where they're selling bottle caps
but it was so
for
predictable.
gasoline.
It was so predictably like a 16-17% increase on almost
Mm-hmm.
everything else, including like the PS5 and the Xbox are going up a little more than that. But
Yeah.
50%'s a lot.
it's this thing, it's this thing that keeps happening. Is someone will say, "Hey, did you know Xbox is doing this? Did you know that they're doing this with their new Xbox? Did you know the Game Pass is taking away games? Did you know that they're raising the price?" And I have the same reaction every time. Xbox is still a thing. Game Pass is
Yeah,
still
right.
a thing. What is this?
It's just that
these things are
to
gone.
put this in easier numbers for dum-dums like you to understand.
Yeah, please.
They increased. They made the $400 PS5 $450.
$450. Yeah.
And that was upsetting. If they had increased it by the same amount, the Game Pass just went up.
Yeah.
It would be $600.
Yeah.
Good God.
Would you buy a $600
So-
base PS5?
I think that the Game Pass thing, I hope this is a wake-up call, because I think that Game Pass is
It's not.
kind of stupid, to be honest with you. I don't like the video game subscription stuff. It's very much to me like, okay, I get to try lots and lots of games for one single price. And my point is,
I basically never finished one.
there you go, right? Where it's like most people download these and they never finish them,
Yeah, right.
right? And so it's like, well, are you really getting the best bang for your buck when you have a refund policy on Steam where you can buy a game, play an hour of it, and then return it?
Yeah.
And you get your money back immediately. So it's like,
Yeah.
is there really a cost-efficient
And
advantage?
then you just buy it under a different account, copy your saves over,
and then you get
play
another
a little
hour
bit more,
right.
and you just do that
Infinitely.
26 times, and then you finish.
the game.
Yeah,
And sometimes not even that much.
not even that much.
So it's like I just don't think that it makes a whole lot of sense to me. And also, I think that even people who, they don't own it, but their friend owns it, it's so easy to just use someone else's Steam account just to try something if you aren't sure if you want to buy it.
Yeah.
It's
They
like
make it
all
very easy.
It's so easy. I just don't even know who is playing these games on Game Pass anymore.
And it's like the streaming services like Netflix kind of found out over the past few years that there's just kind of a maximum amount people are willing to pay for any one group's content, and if you exceed that, people are just going to cancel, and like they don't. All of these companies find out that nobody needs their stuff, that they provide luxury services, right?
Yeah.
So they're like, people will keep subscribing to Disney Plus because they need to see the new episode of Alien, and it's like, look, I need some food.
Yeah, you need
I
to-
need
yeah.
clean water
People-
and fresh
yeah,
air.
right.
I need a place to do my business.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Well, and also there's
Tax evasion.
Taxes,
there's also another way of getting Alien Earth, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
so the problem is
people will turn the criminals of Gotham.
Yes.
If you are Bruce Wayne and you do not take care of the criminals of Gotham's needs, they will start blowing up hospitals.
That's the fundamental problem.
That's what happens.
with Batman.
That's what happens. So if you take away, if you overprice Game Pass, they're going to start blowing up hospitals.
I feel like there's this thing where it's like fiscal year brain that all these CEOs have, where it's like they do not remember the early 2000s.
Right.
They lived through them.
No one does.
They were there. They were
don't.
making the same kind of dumb decisions, but they don't remember that like everything got expensive. Everything was kind of like gotten a little outpaced, and everyone was like, raise the Jolly Roger, right? And it was unmitigated levels of piracy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until we had we were halfway through a generation where there was no price hike. A console came out, and it was like, oh, it's actually not more expensive than the last one.
It's actually
But
cheaper.
that kinda stopped. And
It completely
Games
stopped.
were
Are
at
you kidding?
$60 for quite
Forever.
some
A
time.
long
Yeah.
time. Yeah, well, I mean, my thing is that I have absolutely no sympathy for these companies when they cry and cry and cry about piracy. And the reason I say is like, if you don't want people to resort to that, then maybe you shouldn't make $80 a year to play our Super Nintendo games.
Yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't do a 50% price increase on your Game Pass.
Luxuries aren't something that can afford to go up with inflation. They have to go up with your income. Right? Because
Yeah,
people are not going to spend money they don't have on luxuries. At least I hope not.
But I'll tell you what they will do. They'll play video games.
But
And if you keep
They'll
them...
play, but here's the thing: they have lots of old games because they're still game.
No, they are. But what I'm saying is that you cannot keep them from your shows. You cannot keep
that's
them from
true.
your games. If you don't have Disney Plus and you want to watch Andor, your grandma can find it on 1-2-3 movies. Okay, right?
Yeah.
You're not
And
wrong.
so the
Does
same,
kinda happen.
but the same thing goes for games. You know,
It's also,
it's
I
just
feel
so
like
easy
these-
for people to commit crime now.
I feel like these services are always kind of like they're the Anakin Skywalkers of the story of video gaming, in that they are really meant to be the hero and they slowly turn into the villain. They are meant to help us preserve like these experiences from like the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo 64 and the PlayStation, and they slowly become this expensive choking maw that like devours indie games and tries to basically like fill the same spaces of the like lower budget kind of games that indies have really filled in recent years. But they do it, instead of it being a novelty that people can get into and experience, that it's so much money that if you're going to have it, you need to invest. Like you were saying, you have to buy one of these games a month for it to be worth it. You have to play X amount of them or you're not getting your money's worth. And it becomes this like crass calculation, and it sucks up the oxygen in the room. Like it detracts from actual studios that are making games that are affordable, that are within budget, that are super fun. Just go play them. They're great.
Right.
Most games,
Yeah.
Why
most
not?
games I play now are like $30.
Yeah.
And they're like as good as old
I played a game
64 games.
that I think it's called Kabuto Park, okay? And I bought it on sale, and it was like $1.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's, I think I told Ty about this excitedly, because it is just the, like, Bug Collection and Beetle Sumo from Boku no Natsu Yasumi. Those games always have some version of this. And I found out about this game and I was so excited, and I loved it so much. It was the art was so cute, the gameplay was simple but really fun. I love the Beetle Sumo. It could have been a bit harder is the only thing. I wish it was harder. Maybe it's just that I gamed the system. But point is, I played that entire thing in one sitting, and I had a better experience playing that tiny little indie game than I possibly ever could if I had $70 on my conscience. Okay? So my thing is it's like if you keep increasing these prices, I think people are going to they're either going to resort to stealing the games, or they're going to move toward indie titles, which are already significantly cheaper, and
steal those.
And steal those.
Sure.
My hope is
my thing is go to Steam right now, search The Wear Cleaner, download it for free, and play it. It is so good.
Take your word
it is
for
so
it.
good.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
It's a lot of fun.
I think something else, like like we saw this with COVID, like in 2020. It's not like it's not a video game. It's not just a video game thing. Like when COVID happened, there were problems with the supply chain, prices raised, supply chains were fixed, prices stayed where they were at. A lot of companies that weren't even like affected with supply chain issues just raised their prices because they realized that like that's an excuse that people will pay for it.
Yeah.
And like even though like the tariffs don't really impact Game Pass, it's still an excuse that they can use.
Right.
Well, but and the thing is, you're hitting on something that you're smack on, is that like companies will always push those boundaries and will charge you as much as you will pay for, right? The whole reason that like the PlayStation 5 $50 increase is probably people are probably going to pay that, right? Like that people are probably still going to go out and pay that. And so they can do that. What surprises me is that Microsoft had to know that people weren't going to pay for such a crazy increase. Their website crashed
from
for
unsubscribing.
cancellations. And so they people, it's too much. It's obvious that like people aren't going to that you're crossing a line. Why jump that far? Why not raise it by little bits?
Yeah, and then slowly increase the temperature.
Boil the
so
frog by degrees, kind of thing. I don't know.
I don't know.
But maybe it's because they don't want to make video games anymore and they're looking for an out.
That's fine. Bye.
That's my thought.
Well, something with that though is that whenever subscription models like increase their price, they have to send out a letter. So if they're sending out a letter every year that their price is increasing,
that is true.
Then people are reminded that I have this subscription. I should probably cancel it. The same thing happened with Disney, where like they were just about to raise their prices on their subscription, and then the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing happened.
Yeah, right.
And they're like, we should probably not like give people an excuse to cancel.
Another reason to cancel. What are the odds that a cancellation of two major entertainment services crashes within like 2 weeks of each other?
Yeah.
I think the market is a nightmare right now.
That's
so I don't.
That's not great.
Well.
Anyway.
Ethan, do you have any news, or would you like to tell us what you've been playing, or both?
I have news.
Harrison, give us some news what you've been playing.
I'm still trying to figure out. I'm using a new setup, and it's being
Take your time. This can be edited out, my friend.
Yeah. There we go. So the studio Zom, who made Disco Elysium, they're making a new game called Zero Parades, and there have been some screenshots of some of the dialogue, and it's terrible.
Not good.
It's the writing looks to be very Reddit.
Yeah, which I mean, I know that the crowd that really likes Disco Elysium, I think that because they don't have the same writers.
Yeah,
so
a lot of, like, basically, like, the people behind Disco Elysium are no longer there. They've been bought
ousted.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's one of those things where it's like, well, you don't have the same writers, so all they have to default back onto is like, well, who likes this game, right?
Yeah.
And the easiest group to sort of hone in on is the Reddit crowd, who are incredibly cringe, and so you end up with this sort of boiled down, just sort of I don't know, just sort of,
it's people who like it.
Faux
the writing
political.
feels like it's written by people who like played Disco Elysium but don't understand what made Disco Elysium good. So they're trying to emulate the like the style that they thought the game had, but that's not what the humor is very much like that just happened.
I saw that.
It's very like it's very trying to like take like serious things and try to be a little bit
because
like,
Disco Elysium was a lot of like sardonic wit and things like that, and that is very much not like anything I have seen from this new game.
and that's hard to replicate.
So this guy is this man. You know, I'm one of those people who just says, "There's this guy who wrote this thing," and then I can never remember the name of the person. But there's this guy who wrote this thing, and he wrote about how counterculture tends to do exactly what you're saying. Like, someone who's like a real visionary will create a piece of art that is like really counterculture and really intriguing, and the people who latch onto it very often tend to either be like people who don't get it but kind of understand, they resonate with it, they like connect with it, but they don't like, on an intellectual level, they don't like fully comprehend it. And then the other side is the people they're making fun of tend to also connect to it.
Yeah.
And it's this bizarre thing where, like, you know, like when it started, Rick and Morty was like making fun of their own audience, and South Park went through the same thing of like making fun of their own audience, and the audience didn't get it. And there were punk bands that were making fun of the punk scene because of how like much corporate had like infiltrated it, and it was still seen as like counterculture,
right?
And it springs up people who are they grow up in that counterculture, and they think they're doing the same thing because they're taking the end result and not all the pieces that get you there. And so Reddit humor, like the kind of Reddit humor you're talking about, it's a product of not understanding all of the steps that get you to a moment that is really like, you know, subversive, right? And a moment that's really like meta or breaks the fourth wall.
The spirit of something is more important than the actual things that go into it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know?
So like a great example, and I was reminded of this the other day, is there is a joke in 30 Rock, which is 3 jokes all put together. And it's really funny when it happens, but it feels kind of random. And I know a lot of people who grew up watching 30 Rock, and they think they're making the same kind of joke when they just randomly blurt something out.
Yeah,
but if you actually analyze it, there's like a lot of comedians who like analyze that scene, and they talk about how genius it is that it's 3 jokes. It's fewer words than it is jokes. Like, it's more jokes than the actual the count of words. It's really, really clever, but it feels very like random. It's shot in a very funny way. People watch the end result of that. They create humor that they think is that because it is superficially the same. And the same thing happens with like wit.
What joke was it in 30 Rock?
Ties better.
In 30 Rock, the joke is during a flashback. They're doing this improv thing, and they tell it's Sling Blade and Oprah. And Jenna and Liz sit down, and Liz starts going, "I love these French fried potatoes." And Jenna says in a very just her regular voice, "No, you don't, Oprah." So it's multiple jokes. It's obviously that she thinks that she's Sling Blade somehow and misunderstood that. It's that she's not doing a voice at all or an impression, and also that they're doing improv, and the one thing you're never supposed to say in improv is no.
Yeah.
It's always yes and, right? And so like it's 3 jokes for one punchline.
Right.
It's really good.
People hear that and they
And they think it's just random that like.
And you all
anyway.
complain that I don't
And now we're
respect that
back.
this is a video
And
game
now we're back.
podcast. Thank God we
And now we're back.
Thank God we cut out that idiotic section where a joke was explained
when Devin
and
leaves,
described
yeah.
in detail.
When Devin isn't
Yeah.
here,
Oh my
we
God.
stop talking about video
We stopped talking about video games. No, but to return to the point that we've deviated from for the last 5 minutes, but
Yeah.
only 2 seconds in video time.
which I didn't do. I didn't do it this time. you believe
a true successor to something like Disco Elysium could be nothing like Disco Elysium, right? It would superficially, if you're following the spirit of something like that, you end up with something that's fundamentally completely different. It's kind of like to make an actual like a Star Wars movie, right? You would create something that fundamentally doesn't look or feel like Star Wars because you're following the spirit, and the time in which you're making it is different, and you just are applying like themes and ideas. And Disco Elysium is kind of the same way. A lot of video games are the same way, where they try to replicate an aesthetic instead of a feeling.
Well, I blame Joss Whedon. Did you have any other? Did you want to talk about? Okay, well, I've got to tell
Are
you.
there any other
Hold
30
on.
Rock jokes you wanted me to
No, please, God. All right, I've got to explain 2 things. One is what I've been playing, which is Ape Escape 2. Okay, Ape Escape
What's
2.
the subtitle for that?
2.
Oh.
Okay, Ape
I think
Escape
it's on the loose.
2:2. Okay. Ape Escape 2 is a baffling game because it obviously the first one was on the PS1. This one's on the PS2.
Obvious.
Okay.
Obvious.
In the first game, these monkeys got a hold of
They escape?
these helmets, right? Well, we got to get started here first. These monkeys got a hold of these helmets because one real smart monkey put them on there. Okay, he put on a helmet.
You're saying
made him real-
monkey. Are they apes or are they monkeys?
They are both. You cannot evolve out of a clade, you moron. Okay, they're both. Okay.
I'm sorry. What?
You cannot evolve out of a clade. Okay. So the point is that these monkeys, which are apes, okay, these monkeys which are apes, they get mind controlled by a really smart ape who has a mind control helmet.
So they got smarter, and then they got their brains controlled.
You
and
have
then they
to
control the planet, and it's Planet of the Apes.
They escape and they start.
No, it's Planet of the Monkeys.
And they start, wreaking havoc. You are a boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
You are a boy.
What does this have to
I
do
was
with Ape
once.
Escape?
You are a boy and you have a net and you have to
Yeah.
go out there. They say go out there, stop crying.
Go out there and kill
Go
the
out there
monkeys.
and you have to catch those monkeys, and also your friend is evil.
Oh,
okay.
Primate on primate violence.
This is primate on primate violence. You catch the monkeys and you also beat
Catch
the
your
crap
friend.
out of your friend.
Yeah.
No, you don't catch him. You just
we don't?
beat him up. You beat him
yeah.
up until
You
he
murder
stops
him.
being stupid.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I do with all my friends.
You defeat the bad guy and all is well. The
Spoiler.
monkeys have been put into safety.
Yeah.
Right? And all is well.
I don't want to see
Okay.
how those monkeys wound up.
All is well. You're never gonna guess what happened in the sequel.
The sequel to
Something very
Monkey
original.
Spelunky.
Oh my God. There were all these monkeys in the past, and in the past monkeys didn't have pants, and so we got to send pants back for these monkeys to wear because it's indecent, right? Accidentally sent back these helmets. Now there's monkeys being controlled by the grandson of the mastermind monkey from the original game. Okay?
In the past.
In the past. Okay? And so these monkeys
Based
are
from
now
the future.
these monkeys are everywhere. Okay? And what are we going to do? This takes place 10 minutes after the first game. So boy with net is still there. He's still got a net. Okay.
He doesn't have any of his tools from the first.
The girl has the tools, and you just get them from her. So you get the tools from the first game. Your friend is presumably died of an overdose because he is not in the game.
Oh.
Oh, really?
He's not in it.
Is it? You said
so,
it's after the first game, not
it's
the
like
second game.
No, the second game takes place immediately following the first game because of time travel shenanigans.
No, you said the third game.
No, we're talking about the second game. The third game is not included
We're
in this.
lost.
Yeah.
The point is that it happened again.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. That is the subtitle.
That's-
Escape 2, it happened again.
That's a
Yeah.
ridiculous premise. It's impossible to believe.
yeah.
Like, fascinating.
And it's a really good game.
Yeah.
And you go around, you catch monkeys and such, but it doesn't quite live up to the first game. You know, the first game just felt so tight in how it handled, and the second game is a little wonky. Okay? I've been playing Ape Escape 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
Subtitle on the loose.
on the loose. The Saudi Arabian government and
we
Jared
cut.
Kushner.
And we cut.
I was just about
And we
the
cut.
news I wanted to go to. I was going to open with, have you guys been drinking your milk? How your bones feel? Can we
my
talk
God.
about
Well-
Saudi Arabia buying Activision?
Yes, EA.
They bought EA.
They bought EA.
They'd have to buy Microsoft to buy Activision.
So,
then we're all in trouble.
the Saudi princes and Jared Kushner. Jared Kushner is that murderous Zionist son-in-law of President Trump, right? He alleged it has been alleged that he drinks blood, and it has been alleged that he is
His skin would be clear if he did.
well. The thing is that his skin is like really smooth.
No, I mean clear, like translucent.
Oh. Well, listen. The point is
They're
that
trying to silence him.
I'm trying.
Quick,
they're
Ty,
trying to
what's
silence
another
me.
30 Rock joke?
The point,
that was really fun?
God. The point is that Jared Kushner, and it was alleged that he killed and ate a baby monkey on camera. Jared Kushner is alleged to have killed and ate a baby monkey.
Is that why he's trying to capture the apes?
To be clear, this is why Ape Escape 4 is never going to come out.
oh,
It's never going to come out.
Jared Leto.
monkeys.
Jared
Ate a
Leto
monkey.
is accused of having eaten a monkey with Jared Kushner.
Oh,
Okay.
it's just a Jared thing.
So-
He was on a Subway sandwich. And
Subway
there was another
sandwich.
Jared
Jared
there.
was
Fogel,
another
and you know what? Jared
That
Fogel.
monkey was underage.
Let me tell you
Oh my
something.
God. He was
Jared
only
Fogel
7.
was also in the room, and he was the less perverted of all three. Okay.
Oh, God.
Thank God
The-
Harrison's going to cut
the
all
point.
of this.
This is gold. This is important.
Nope. This is gone.
EA is now owned by the Saudi princes, and can you believe it that EA is less evil? I can't believe it. No, but the point is, genuinely, EA being purchased by the guys who murder journalists when they speak out against them. They use a slave army, and so on and so forth. And also by the Saudi princes is really terrible. Jared, quit allegedly killing those prisoners and using slave labor, and so on and so forth. But EA, if you didn't already realize this, audience, don't buy any more EA games.
Quint, you can't say
Don't buy
all this
anymore.
negative stuff about EA. They will come after us.
EA.
They're too
What are they-
EA is
what are
too
they-
powerful.
What are they gonna do? Send some assassins to kill me like a journalist?
My toilet doesn't flush strong enough for that.
So the point is,
I would just like to point out that Ape Escape is owned by Sony.
oh,
Right, this
no,
has
they don't.
nothing.
No, they don't own Ape
This
Escape.
has nothing to do with
They don't own Ape Escape.
Listen, Quinn, this segment is going to cut immediately after Quinn says, the Saudi princes, and we are
No,
cutting to
here-
the next segment.
Here's the thing. Jared Kushner is the reason that Ape Escape will allegedly not happen anymore because he ate the monkey.
He ate the monkey.
Right. Yeah.
Thank God for that.
But this is the thing, is it brings up this question of like ethics in this sphere.
I'd love to talk
because
about it if only we had gotten here through some
don't.
sane means that we could talk about ethics.
How do you there's obviously no ethical consumption under capitalism, but how do you say I'm going to buy this EA game and the money is going to go directly in the Saudi prince's pocket?
Yeah.
Ask the comedians who just went over there and performed.
Yeah,
boy.
pathetic.
Don't have any
Saudi
heroes.
princes.
Pathetic.
My thought of this is that, like, I rarely have to deal with any kind of ethical questions inside of, like, the world of video games. Like, the gaming industry is, you know, it's more like decentralized than like the movie industry. It's more decentralized than a lot of like production. It's the reason that like a super popular game that wins like game of the year can be made by one guy. right? Like these are electronic, like infinitely replicatable things,
Right.
So, and they can be scaled, like I said, one person can make them, a whole team can make them.
3 people in Australia could make them.
And make a really great one.
Or
yeah.
a bunch of people in France could redeem the whole nation by making a game so good that people forgot how much they disliked the French.
But only for a minute.
But only
That's why I won't play Clair Obscur. I cannot let go of the hate.
I know.
Yeah.
Don't worry. By the time you finish it, you'll be back to hating the French.
Oh, okay.
But it does kind of feel pretty gross when, like, you know, this is not like a normal kind of sale. This isn't one American company selling to a British company or to an Australian company or to someone else that, like...
When was the last time an American company this big was allowed to be sold to any foreign, even a British?
This
I don't know.
This is out there.
But when is a foreign head of state owned
That's what I mean.
a game company? Yeah, because like a British company, you can say buys it. But the problem
that is rare.
The problem is that it is technically like a company in Saudi Arabia, but obviously at the top level of
it's like selling to a company in China
where
the state will have a majority share.
The problem is that even in China, where it's a majority share, it is still a company that is not entirely owned by
I see what you're saying.
the head of state, and more to the point, it's owned by the government of China. However, Saudi Arabia is a monarchy. Right, and so the Saudi royal line effectively at the highest level owns
we
EA.
forget about this too,
which is
but,
crazy.
like, again, way outside of the scope, which we shouldn't have to talk about on a video game podcast. But the journalist, I'm going to butcher his name, Jamal Khashoggi, was an American citizen. I was actually reading a couple of his articles a month before he was killed, and the fact that an American citizen was killed by a foreign power, it's repugnant that like it happened to anyone. It feels very personable that it happened to a citizen of the country I live in who was abroad, and there was not a much of a reaction about it on an international level. That's all kind of gross.
Yeah.
And they haven't gotten better. Like, this has gotten worse. This isn't, like I said, this isn't some other country that, you know, you might not like their liberal government. You might not like their conservative government. At least they have some kind of government that they have some kind of representation. There's some kind of part of like a bigger community.
Yeah, sure.
This is a gross part of
If only there was some entity that could approve or disapprove sales of companies in the United States that would review things like this and maybe prevent sales or allow them.
Hold on a second. I need to get
I just gotta say, guys, I really appreciate you all giving us some Patreon exclusive content right there. And if you're just now cutting back to us, go subscribe to our Patreon.
Wait,
in the famous words of Shane Gillis, you don't 9/11 your friends.
Oh, there you go. Now
in the famous words of me, whoops.
Ethan, that was the news you were going to bring up.
That was.
So we'll just count that as a joint. The only other thing I was going to say is that a Hideo Kojima anime has been announced, which is Death Stranding Mosquito.
Yes.
Okay. And everybody has been saying it. All right. Now, mind you, Hideo Kojima anime gets me hard with anticipation. Okay, because I want to know where this is going. But the protagonist is black. Okay?
Yeah, and you just can't get behind that.
So here's the thing. Everybody's been saying the character, I won't even say protagonist, the character who is in the trailer, woke DEI, black DEI, African American DEI, presumably. Okay? What they aren't considering is he could be evil.
Sure.
Okay? So people who are saying, "Oh, we shouldn't have a black hero in our Japanese anime." One, you're racist. Okay? Because there's always been black people in Japanese animes Probably. Okay.
What's that guy in Cowboy Bebop?
Samurai, Afro Samurai.
Afro Samurai.
That's a whole anime.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll take your
About a
word
black
for
guy.
it. I don't know and I don't care. Okay?
Fair.
My point is that there are black people in Hideo Kojima games already.
There are.
So why couldn't there be ones in the anime? But also he might be evil. He might be a criminal.
I'll say this.
And so it's not woke. If Hideo Kojima said, we're making the only character in this black and also a criminal, we don't know.
Here's what I'll
Is
say.
it woke? Maybe.
Here's what I'll say. Kojima introduced a man in Death Stranding 2 who his soul become trapped in a doll. I forget his
Yes,
name.
Faith Aiken.
What was his name? Again?
Doll Man.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry.
He also introduced a man who a part of him was still left in the tar. So there was always tar, but I forget his name too.
Oh, sorry. That's a Tar Man.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Tar Man. Mhm.
He's a very literal man.
Yeah.
That's what Kojima would be
really
called.
says, I know writers who use subtext and they're all cowards.
Yeah. So this
Years
guy-
ago,
yeah. Mhm.
he introduced a vampire named Vamp.
Yeah, because he's bisexual.
Yes, who's not
Yeah,
named after being a vampire.
No, he is because he's
That
bisexual.
he is
Yeah.
not named after being.
There-
This is
yeah.
called Metal Gear Stranding
Mosquito.
Mosquito.
Yeah,
It
mosquito.
will not be about sucking blood.
No blood will be sucked.
No blood will be sucked. In fact, they will be named that because
But I will be sucked dry.
the sound it makes.
Okay.
It is. I can already tell this is the Vamp situation all over
yeah.
again. It
Hell
has
yeah.
nothing to
Yeah.
do with mosquito.
Uh-huh.
It's because it's an
Yeah.
acronym for something else that has nothing to do with sucking blood or being an
It's going to
insect
be
or
a giant robotic insect.
You know, I thought you were going to say it's just going to be like the situation with Vamp, where it's just
Yeah.
going to be about being bisexual.
Yeah.
Right?
They call him Mosquito because he sucks teeth.
But the point is like all aside, the people who really don't like that, like the character is black,
Yeah.
and who are whining about
Yeah.
this. My whole thing is I'm like, the Death Stranding community is like so unified on the fact that Tommy Earl Jenkins gave the best video game performance that has ever been given in Death Stranding.
Let me say,
as
you say
Die
you
Hard
say
man.
people,
So,
but I've
you
never
know.
seen any proof that they aren't one guy with like
Me.
4 accounts.
me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think
Totally
that those
possible.
kinds of complaints, whenever people complain about Kojima games being woke, I always just kind of like look around. It's kind of like complaining that Star Trek is woke, where you're just
Yeah,
kind of like
it's
looking
because-
around and you're like,
Well,
Where'd you come
Kojima
from?
himself is woke.
yeah, Kojima is
he
woke.
is DEI. He is a Japanese
Yes.
gay man.
Exactly. He's always been DEI. Look at any of his games. They're diverse and they're sort of Western appealing and all sorts of things. He's always been woke DEI. He is now Biden DEI because Biden is still running the
Look at
country.
how many airplanes crash in his games.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right? Biden got 12 years.
Every
in
single
power,
Kojima
okay?
game is woke DEI because you, the player, are gay.
You're gay, and you're being included, and you
Yes.
might even be black, but you are gay.
You
Okay.
are a gay black trans woman if you play a Kojima
At least
game.
I am.
It's
Okay.
only when you're playing.
When you're
I'm not coming the next
When-
time. I'm not coming to this podcast the next time Devin can't
When-
be here.
Just say-
Okay? I don't want to
Here's
do
the
it.
thing. Everybody, you know,
can't
I
do
just
it.
want to go ahead and put a little statement here.
How much of honestly,
Um,
honestly, how much of this is usable?
I just want to make a
give me a
statement.
we're at 43 minutes, probably 12.
Yeah,
I
that's
just want to make a
probably
statement
about right.
that you know, regardless of what people think about me, okay,
they try not to.
comment about you.
I personally like black. What did you just said?
Black gay
trans,
trans woman.
black gay trans women. I am very pro black gay trans women. They deserve to exist and have rights and
They
play
deserve-
video games. They deserve to be in Hideo Kojima games.
Yeah.
So I'm in full support of this. Anything that I've said leading up to this should be seen through that lens.
Yeah.
I'm happy that Mosquito looks really good. Interesting animation, interesting character designs, so on and so forth. Woke DEI, actually good this time. It's actually good because
When is it not?
Because Kojimbo cannot lose. He cannot do the wrong thing. If Kojimbo went onto Fifth Avenue and gunned everybody down, I'd still vote for him.
Well, I was gonna say
That's the end of my
We
news.
we could almost have used that sentence.
I feel
we
like
almost didn't have to
kind
bleep
of-
or cut it.
Video games are often on the like. They're often a little ahead of the curve when it comes to like the direction like culture is taking.
Like Wolfenstein.
Oh dear.
Yeah. We're going to get there.
More unusable.
We'll get there.
A lot of my like friends who are like on that like more like conservative side, who I used to hear like the woke complaint stuff, and I would make fun of them viciously to their faces.
Right.
They've all got like the fatigue of hearing it. They just like they've unsubscribed from a lot of the channels that push it. They don't really talk about it anymore. They just talk about things being good or bad.
Yeah.
Everyone feels exhausted by it at this point. Like I feel like we can all think Dragon Age Veilguard, where it had a non-binary character written by Asmongold that everyone hated, and they all of these like more progressive people were like they couldn't stand this particular character, and they're like, yeah, because it's written terrible, and it just suddenly clicked, and everyone just went, oh, we just want things that are written well, we don't actually care. And now when something comes out, people sometimes crow and whine. They go, oh my god, Biden DI, woke DI, and there's also other people than you
that are
also
me.
say that.
Yeah.
And then once no one listens to them anymore, and then once it comes out, they just either go it was good or bad. 'Cause,
Yeah.
video gaming is a little ahead of the curve, and we're already like fatigued with it.
Absolutely,
we're already
yeah.
more interested. Like the same people who praise Baldur's Gate are the same people who disliked that character in Dragon Age. Like, so it's like we're kind of a little bit ahead of it. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Well, I think
But here's the thing: we you know what this almost sounds like? It almost
Topic
sounds
of the
like
week.
a topic of the week.
Topic of the week. All right, we have like maybe 2 topics.
How are you going to do this, Harrison?
He'll be
What,
fine.
the topics?
Edit this episode.
No,
This
it'll
is
be
the-
no.
This is
no,
the biggest.
no. This is gonna be fine. And the reason I say is, here's the reason I say, Devin is not here, okay? And
he's not gonna watch it.
he's not gonna watch it, right? So it doesn't matter. No, and
And the
also
episode with just me, Quentin, and Harrison was
this is the funniest episode we ever. Yeah. Honestly, the most entertaining. I don't
Why
think.
don't you throw me the bag.
What? I've never dipped my sensuous claw in there though.
Hang on, we got to tee it up.
Oh,
You can
okay.
dip your sensuous claw in a minute.
Harrison needs to tee it up to you.
Yeah, that's right.
Harrison
it up.
Teed it up.
Yeah.
Tee
Show
what up?
Yeah, he's got to say.
Oh,
Quentin.
I see. Yeah, right,
Yeah,
right.
you've gotta say
okay.
it.
You've got to tell me. Yeah, right.
All right, Quinn. Dip your sensuous, meaty claws into the bag.
My sensuous, meaty claw. You can see how sensuous it is.
Your dainty little lady
with
fingers.
its spazzing out here. Let's see.
Take your medication, for God's sake.
Something's got me.
Definitely peek that mic.
It's printed.
It's printed? That's so fancy.
Is that a fortune cookie?
It's very...
You will find something you lost recently.
don't read the lucky numbers,
Oh
please.
my God, 69.
That is the least offensive.
It was
thing.
my virginity. Let's see. Devin question.
Oh.
It was a Devin question.
Should we wait until Devin's here?
Let's wait until Devin. Yeah.
That was a
Build up the fortune
that was a hell of a wind up for a whole lot of nothing.
There's only 2 in there.
All right, let's see.
Is there-
It's
no,
a
there's a
Devin question.
There's a bunch. I put a bunch in there. I know there's
It's a
more.
Devin question. It's a Devin question.
Are you kidding me?
Let me see.
Some of these
Devin's
have
the only
this
this
one's
one.
not going to be a
I
Devin
had
question.
so many.
Let me see. This one's got to be me, right? Yeah. This one. I wrote this a long time ago. Maybe we should use a Devin question.
You know what? This episode's basically unairable anyway. Let's just
This
rip
is-
the Band-Aid
all
off.
This
right.
is going to be a Patreon exclusive.
And this whole episode.
This is going to be a lost episode.
Yeah.
Since
I'm going to take that bag away from you.
all right. Since gamers are already perverted and celibate, why don't they just apply themselves and join the priesthood?
Because they can't read, Quinn.
I phrased it very specifically that they need to apply themselves. Like I think
the liturgy doesn't have a fast forward.
you can't hit A to skip the mass.
You can't skip the tutorial.
Yeah, oh yeah. The skill tree is a little busted.
That's the question. Why? And it's specifically, why don't they apply themselves? The question is specifically, why don't they apply themselves? So
Because
what is it about gamers?
Because getting baptized would dissolve them. They haven't been in a bath in so long.
That's a good point. Bathing, there's not a Smash Bros fan that can be baptized.
You believe
all right?
water down?
I've tried in my bathtub at home. I've tried to dunk them. The question isn't about them being perverted and celibate, right? So that's just an established fact. We don't have to ask any questions about that, right? I think the reason they don't apply themselves, okay, in this is the same reason they don't apply themselves otherwise, right? You can be perverted and celibate, right? But you're also a gamer, okay? These are interlinked. Being a priest, you can't be a gamer anymore. Okay? Right.
So what you're saying is the priesthood should go pro and to be Overwatch players, right?
It's more like Smash Bros than Overwatch, right? For obvious reasons. But the point is, there's really no other component to that question.
No.
It's just that. So
There's really no other answer to
I'm glad we covered that ground.
You can't be a priest and a gamer because the second you play a video game, you will die. That's Pope Francis played Undertale and then immediately turned into dust.
He died. Yeah, and video games often lead to mortal sin. I've heard, right?
I mean, they are a mortal sin.
I don't play video games, so I'm spotless. Let's see. I'm gonna dig in here.
We're not gonna
real
make it,
specifically.
guys.
Let's see, Devin.
If they're printed, they're Devin. Just
That's Devin. Let me see. This one can't.
I put so many in
Here we
there.
go. This one's gonna be ties. I can recognize the handwriting.
the horrible handwriting. But can you read
All right.
the horrible?
Sad games kill replayability. I think that's what that says.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Sad games kill replayability.
Sad games are incredible.
Wait, yeah, okay.
First time. Mm-hmm. And then I find myself every time I think about 100%ing this sad game or replaying this bummer of a game, just going, you know what? Not today. And I put the gun back in the drawer. I go, life's too good.
Yeah, okay. I don't do that. I replay sad games almost exclusively.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the mood.
Yeah, like constantly depressed.
I think I think one of the other factors is the story of a sad game. If I know the sadness is coming, it's not quite as it looms. Whereas when it surprises you, it's this powerful effect.
Yeah, right.
But I can't think of a game with like a really depressing story or ending that I've really replayed. I think of tons that I've loved and enjoyed, but I can't really think of one that I've like gone back and replayed just to hang out with.
I mean, I replay Death Stranding all the time, and Death Stranding is miserable.
It's not.
So
I mean, it has sad moments. It's not quite what I
think that the
was
tone
talking
of that
about.
whole game is depressing.
Kinda.
Everything about that game is just sort of like.
It's kind of about making things better, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
little bit hopeful.
except we know that it didn't. None of the things that happened in the first game made anything better.
Yeah. Well.
Because of Death Stranding.
Because they had to
2.
make a sequel.
There's a sequel.
'Cause they had to make a sequel.
And nothing mattered.
Somehow
from the first
Palpatine
game.
returns. which is
Somehow
sick.
Palpatine returned.
Yes,
No,
exactly.
I would describe Death Stranding as a game that has a lot of like sad moments and a lot of hopeful moments. It's kind of a complicated story.
What's a sad game that you're thinking about right now that you just don't want to replay?
I was thinking about games like Claire Obscure is a recent game. It's kind of a bummer. It's French. Spoilers.
You spoiled that it's French. Now I'm not gonna play it.
Games like Final Fantasy 15 is the only one I've never replayed. Because it's very bleak. Crisis Core is hard to
Yeah,
go.
I haven't replayed Crisis Core, but I
It's
love
hard
that
to
game.
replay. It's really fun.
Yeah.
It's hard to replay.
I mean,
you know what?
this seems like a skill issue.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
An emotional skill issue.
358 days is hard to replay. Because it gets real heavy right at the end.
Maybe I'm just a big old sap who loves to watch sad movies and sad shows and sad games.
No, I agree because sometimes I like enjoying sad things. I think the problem for me is that I don't really play a lot of sad video games in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like
games are such a long commitment too. To watch a sad movie is like 2 hours of watching something sad. To play a sad game, particularly a game with a sad ending, you're like sad for the next 20 hours. 30, 40, 50, 60 hours, right?
Like sometimes I will go back and rewatch the Final Fantasy 14 cutscene with Seto. It makes me bawl like a baby.
Yeah.
But I don't go back and play through Shadowbringer.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that takes forever.
I mean, here's the thing. It's not like I wake up in the morning and I'm like, it's 7 a.m. Time to put on Schindler's List. Okay? I don't do
That's
that.
what I do.
I don't do that
That's what I
every
do.
day.
Yeah.
I don't do
You
that
do it
every
most
day.
days.
All right? I just do that maybe 3 days out of the week.
Yeah.
Okay? And then on Saturdays.
You do that on Yom Kippur.
On Yom Kippur, I might put it on to... we can't.
This episode is not.
Listen. I don't know why I brought up Schindler's List around.
I don't know why you did.
Y'all. I don't know why I did
I
that.
don't know why you did either.
The point is that I'm not torturing myself and going I'm gonna watch the single most depressing movie every day. I'm not gonna watch or play the single most depressing game every day, right? But what is your threshold for these sad games? Because when I think of Death Stranding, even the first one, I think it's very sad, right? The little bit of hope, it's like, okay, well, you got a little grain of hope, but it didn't make the rest of it not sad, right? It's about the main character leaving everyone behind. So, that's pretty sad, right?
Sure.
So,
if you dig into what is actually if you don't just play and you actually are paying attention, I feel like Elden Ring has a very sad story too.
I have no doubt.
There's a lot of tragedy in Elden Ring, and I go back and I do replay Elden Ring quite a bit, but it does kind of let you engage without
you feel very detached.
Yeah, you can. You can very easily just play through the game for the mechanics.
You as a character are very detached from a lot of the events and sadness and stuff going on.
But I can't go back and replay Xenoblade 3 as easily because
it was an emotional.
Yeah, it's very emotional
events and how much does that? I guess the actual nature of that question is how much does stuff like that affect the replayability of a game for you? Do you have an easier time replaying a game like Breath of the Wild or Final Fantasy? Is it easier for you to replay Final Fantasy 9 or 10?
Okay. Sure.
How much does it affect you knowing
I honestly think that maybe it makes it better for me because I think that melancholic games appeal to me a lot, and so I think that those are kinds of ones that I'm going to gravitate to. Because
I-
even with Breath of the Wild, you're in like this destroyed world and there's barely anybody in it, and that it's quiet and alone. There's a melancholic aspect to that. All your
Yeah.
friends are dead.
And Final Fantasy X is probably a bad example because, like, Final Fantasy 15 is a better example because it's just oppressive at times. 10's largely a very, like, upbeat game.
Yeah, right.
But, like, I guess I'm talking about games that are, like, pervasively sad. Games that are kind of a bummer. Because, like, a sad event
so I kind of
is
get
not
what
the
you're saying,
same.
because like I think the same ways that like a melancholy game I can go back and play over and over again, but like Final Fantasy 15 is a great example because the story is about like the last road trip you went on with your friends before
right.
you all like lost track of each other. It is the long goodbye. And the characters in 15 are fantastic.
They're really
the game has its problems, it has its story problems, it has its pacing problems, but the characters are fantastic, and especially the portrayal of them. They're very like human. The connections between them are really powerful, and so this to go back and be like, yeah, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna get out the projector and I'm gonna watch the last road trip I had with my friends, who I don't see anymore. That's tough.
You might watch snippets from it. Every once in a while to remind yourself, but it's hard to go end to end.
By myself, I would not like recreate the road trip without them, because that's kind of what it feels like when you know where it ends. Is you kind of feel like you're watching that long goodbye again, and it can be. It's a little different than it just being like very melancholy. There's lots of other things that I enjoy, like that are more melancholy or more introspective or even a little sadder. That one hits a little different.
Yeah, I think there's some games like Papers, Please and Beholder which unfairly represent the Soviet Union, which was actually based. But the point is that those games, which are sort of these caricatures of sort of Stalin era, USSR, right?
Yeah.
That those games are completely miserable in every single aspect.
Yeah,
there is not a single.
Although that's kind
part
of
it.
That's kind of the point,
and that's the point.
You don't emotionally invest in those games as easily because they don't have characters there in your face, like
With Beholder, it's a little bit. With Beholder, it's a little bit more, but it's sort of in just that you have like characters which are in roles, right? And so you do have like a daughter, right, to take care of, and you can see her. Unlike with Papers, Please, where you have family but you don't see them. But the thing is with those games, like they are. With Papers, Please, it's like infinitely replayable because you're trying to get highest efficiency, and get all of the endings. And so it's like that's a super depressing game that is built around replayability, right? And so like I think of that and I'm like, oh no, well, I want the best outcome in that game because it's so depressing. It's like a motivator, right? Where I'm like, I want the absolute happiest that it can be. Right? So I think it's complicated. I think sometimes
it's complicated. The other thing that I noticed when I was putting together this list, I found a bunch of games that are thought of and known to be like kind of sad games, and I decided to look and check out the achievements and see how many like compare them to how many people finished the game and how many people did New Game Plus or anything, and it's way lower on games that are emotionally heavy or sad. And so I definitely think it impacts the game for some people. Now I will always finish a game like that because I think those stories are often incredible and some of the best. But it's like watching the movie Grave of the Fireflies. All right.
Okay.
You watch that movie exactly one time.
I've watched that movie so many times. So.
I think you have an empathy problem.
I was gonna say I have watched Grave of the Fireflies so many times. I don't even know.
I think
how
that
many.
is kind of making you a little bit of the outlier.
Yeah, it is. No, I'm sure. But I mean, I think that part of it is it's like it's similar to like people who they're chronically depressed and they listen to like miserable music.
Yeah,
people might think of that as being counterintuitive,
but people have different ways they interact with media.
Well, no, my thing is that I think that it's like the being able to choose when you interact with this gives you a level of control that you may not have otherwise in life. But then when it comes to depressing video games, it's a matter of agency where you're in a depressing situation, but you are able to take control of the character. And I think that that's very empowering.
And be helpless through them.
You can be helpless through them. Well, or like this War
Yeah.
of Mine is a game
that's a rough one,
that's
yeah.
horrific,
Yeah.
right? It's absolutely horrific the whole way through, but it's one of those things where it's like, again, it's sort of, even though you're put in that scenario, you still do have agency in it, and it's a form of escapism that maybe only really appeals within a very narrow window for people, right? Most people want escapism that's much happier than what their actual life is, not worse.
Right.
This is why I like the Vietnam War, because
you just want to keep reliving it over and over again.
I keep thinking like, man, my life might be pretty bad, but those it could be worse. It could be worse. So,
and it will be.
Okay, do we have time for one more?
I think so.
Okay.
All right.
I think we do.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's see.
Let's hope we don't get another Devon one.
Oh, we're not going to get another Devon one. We've pulled out so many Devon ones. There cannot be another Devon one.
Right?
This one has a Q. It doesn't look like my handwriting.
I probably wrote it for you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. It says, rare, rare, not rare. Do any of our gaming heroes still make anything of any value?
Fascinating.
Let me read it again. Rare, not rare. Rare, not rare. Do any of our gaming heroes still make anything of any value?
I understand exactly what you're saying.
Okay.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
There you go.
You're talking about the glory days back when Rareware was in rare
they
form.
were
But
in
now
rare
rare
form.
is not really rare.
No, and the thing is are any of our gaming heroes really what they used to be?
I don't know that anybody or anything is what it used to be.
As good as it used to be, because some things get better, right? So, like a sultry woman, it gets better with age. She gets more. She's an experienced lover, just like Shigemomo,
Just like a fine wine.
like a fine wine. Okay, what about Shigemomo? Did Shigemomo age like a sultry woman?
Yes, in that he peaked
physically.
Yes, in that he peaked in his 40s, and it was all downhill from there.
I don't know. I think that, but that's the thing, is it's like rare.
Yeah.
When we think of rareware, right?
They definitely
it's some of the most
rare.
It's some of the most iconic games ever made.
Yeah.
People love these games, even the games that have never had a sequel in years, and they're still talking about them. Do we have anybody that sort of stayed the course?
And
Hideo Kojima doesn't count.
I feel like Sakurai has been pretty
consistent. I definitely
consistent.
think we do.
Okay, Sakurai is a good answer.
That's an excellent answer.
That is a very good answer.
Sakurai has. I think there are a number of people who have kind of consistently made like great products. I think for all of what people may say or think, I think Eiji Aonuma has been incredibly consistent in his game output.
Does he lead any of the games still, or is he handed off like Shigeru has?
He's the executive. He's like
a
the
producer?
He's the main.
Okay.
He's the showrunner basically.
So he doesn't do the directing or the writing anymore. It's just he does
might have something to do with the writing staff.
I'm gonna say that if
Maro Fujibayashi is the director, and he has been since Oracle of Ages.
I'm gonna say that if Eiji Aonuma,
Sakamoto-san has never made a bad game.
he's also made 4 games.
That's correct.
Now, as I say, so that sort of counts. That this is true. I'll say that I don't know about Aonuma. I think that the way that Zelda has been handled has been very corporate, and I don't like it. But
as of late,
Zelda has been.
I don't think Zelda has been very well handled.
Come out yet?
Yeah,
I think that they've stepped into this new territory, and if you didn't like Tears of the Kingdom, that isn't the pattern yet. That's just one.
Yeah.
No,
but I also think Zelda's always been a bit controversial. You know, I remember the Twilight Princess discourse from
Skyward
Sword.
But I should say this is.
I don't think that's anything.
But this also isn't a question of whether they still produce
I think
things.
No,
It's
I think,
about the fact that have they stayed on the level, or did they peak and they've been on a decline?
I think they've stayed on the level.
And the reason I say is
everybody wants.
The
to be
reason
left
I say,
alone.
I mean, I think Zelda declined after A Link to the Past, but the point is that when it comes to like Rare, okay, Sea of Thieves. I think everybody has played Sea of Thieves. Yeah. It's a very fun game.
Yeah.
It's creative. And
is it Diddy Kong?
It's not.
Quest,
it's not Diddy's Conquest, right? And it never will be. And that's the thing is it's like, but then you look at people like Aonuma, and then there's the question of like, what was the last game that he directed?
I think Twilight Princess was the last game he directed.
And I think a lot of people would say, can we go back?
Right.
Can we go back to the old style of Twilight Princess, which everyone loved, right? So I don't know.
Not everyone. It's always been a thing where you had a lot of people who didn't like it and a lot of people that did.
Sure. I mean,
that Zelda has always been kind of that way.
Right. I think that Sakamoto is an interesting one just because, he makes
he doesn't make many games.
He doesn't make anything. He shows up. I assume he lives in like some mansion in the middle of nowhere. Filled with cobwebs.
What about Miyazaki?
Oh, I mean,
Miyazaki isn't yes, I agree. I think Miyazaki is in great form, but I also don't think of him as going as far back as some of the people we're talking about.
I don't think these are the heroes of our childhood.
I was already basically grown when I played the first Dark Souls. When the first Dark Souls came out.
I mean, what year did Dark Souls come out?
Because I mean, here's the thing.
Had to be like
I'm gonna say
12.
Most people at Nintendo have fallen off. I'm going to say that no one at Sony was ever on. Or at least it's been a long time.
A lot of people have retired. Like Sakaguchi, the director of the Final Fantasy series, has been retired for a number of years.
Yeah, but what was the last game that he directed?
The last one.
No, he directed Terra Battle, right?
Yes.
It was a mobile game.
No,
he made that the diorama game for Apple.
It only came out for Apple.
So let me get this straight. The guy started making mobile games and then disappeared off the face of the map, and the investigation is still open about where to find his body.
True.
Okay.
My point is,
him being gone.
A lot of people left their companies. The creator of Mega Man left Capcom. The creators.
There you go.
So I think that
you're saying exactly what I'm talking about.
Inafune has not held up great in his indie work,
but that's my point. Usually when they leave and start doing indie work, they kind of fall out of they're used to these bigger budgets, they're used to these longer timelines and larger teams, and they don't always like integrate very well into the indie space. Some of them do, I think that why am I blanking on the Xenoblade guy's name?
P. Diddy? Didn't P. Diddy make
is it Takahashi?
Albert Fish?
He had a lot of success post Square Enix with Xenogears and then the Xenoblade series.
Takahashi.
Yeah, he's still sweet.
He's had a lot of success.
I would say, despite my despite the kind of objective failures of Endwalker, I think Yoshi P is still like.
You mean post Endwalker?
But even
Endwalker was
Endwalker was phenomenal. Shadowbringers was phenomenal.
How was Yoshi P a hero of your childhood as far as the video game space goes?
No. He kind of was. Well, he comes from Dragon Quest.
Yuji Horii. Yuji Horii is still doing it.
Explain for the viewers at home who Yuji Horii is.
I will not do that. Yuji Horii is the visionary behind Dragon Quest.
Yeah, he is. And I don't know that he's I guess he is a household name. I mean, sure. I don't play Dragon Quest, so
I would drop it.
I was about to say, so I guess that's true. I would argue that most of the people who have mentioned,
though, that most people have.
I'm going to say most of the people are either retired or have dropped off heavily. That's what I'm going to say. I think that with the exception of Sakurai, I think Harrison is right on the money. I think Sakurai has made
is really
really only good products even
I
now.
played a Sakurai game I didn't like.
But
by the way, Miyazaki, Demon's Souls came out in 2009, but his first work as director was Armored Core 4, which was 2006.
Yes, but Armored Core was not. How do I put this? I really loved Armored Core. It was not the classic game. Games that were, it wasn't on the level of the classic games we're talking about. He kind of worked his way up. I didn't know who he was until
Dark Souls. Yeah, right. Well, and again, that's my thing is I think like the window of when these things is the gaming of our childhood is mostly what we're talking about is the fact that everyone in this room is elderly.
We're old, right? And so the gaming of our childhood is mostly people who have died.
Yes, they mostly have died or retired.
Yeah,
mostly.
But I think I'm gonna say I agree with Sakamoto and Sakurai and no one else.
But if you mentioned Rare in your question, were you talking more about like Rare isn't a person? Rare was a company that used to like knock it out of the park. And now,
if we go by company, everyone has fallen off. I don't think there is a single major video game company that has not fallen off. If we want to talk about the absolute golden age of any of these companies, it would be very difficult to argue that right now in the gaming space that they are better. Right?
I think that's probably true.
Like, I mean...
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I don't really think that there's any. So if we're going...
And again, I think if you just look at the entire planet Earth, it would be very hard to argue that anywhere or anything has gotten better. Is in a great spot.
Let's go play some EA game.
Let's find out.
Cook.
The world has only gotten better in communist China, and so I can only assume the video games there are great.
Right.
Okay. I'll never know, but unless
it's all gonna be AI generated game.
Please let me in. I'll work for scraps. Just let me in. Okay. I think that all of them. I don't think there's any company that's as good as it used to be.
From a company standpoint, I think I would agree.
And that's not to say that some of them aren't good.
Might be at their best though.
Indie games are kind of peaking.
They've been really, for a while now. Indie games just keep knocking it out of the park.
This is true. Like when I think of like the games that have absolutely blown me away over the last few years, obviously I haven't, I don't like most video games, so like I know it's kind of maybe not the best person to ask about this, but most of them have been indie games. Like the games I still just sort of live rent free in my head are obviously indie, and so it's like it is kind of hard for me to have any different view than that of like I've got hope in these big companies, when it's like every time I play a big company game, I'm either thinking about a game that came out 20 years ago or I'm thinking about an indie game. That's not a good sign. Yeah. Okay.
Some smaller studios have been knocking it out of the park too.
Yeah, I mean,
but,
double and triple A or double and
it does feel like we're living indie games have just kept getting better over the last decade.
They've caught up.
Now smaller studios are able to emulate that success. They're able to like carry through as well. So I do feel like the big titans, like you're talking about, like the titans of our like childhood, they are not in their finest form.
I think it's about like I think you're absolutely right. I think it's about retention. Like if you look at the ones that retained a lot of talent, they're doing better, and the ones that a lot of talent kind of slipped away from that are like Rare, that are just a shell of what it used to be. None of the people BioWare, none of the people that made it. You know where the people who made BioWare went? They went to Larian.
Oh,
well, they went to Larian and they made Baldur's Gate 3. So like the people are still doing very well, but the company hasn't had a whole lot of retention. When a company does have a lot of employee retention, they keep those same people collaborating in the same ways over time. They tend to do better at kind of keeping the magic alive.
Sure. And I don't, because I haven't played enough BioWare, I can't really speak to the whole Larian situation, but I'd say in the situation with Rare, it's kind of an example of the fact that bringing these industry experts, these people who have just been working in gaming for so long, and then moving them to a studio and saying, we're going to relive the glory days, you end up with Yooka-Laylee. Yooka-Laylee is an awful game.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Ukulele sucks.
I've never actually played ukulele.
It's a $2 million game that is worse than anything that Rare released.
But let me.
You can play the banjo game for the Game Boy Advance, and you'll get a fuller experience.
Sometimes the magic of a game or a product or a movie was not any of the people involved. It was that special collaboration. And if you lose even one of them, they can't collaborate. I think the people who made the show Avatar: The Last Airbender were like a dream team, and they've all each individually gone and worked on other projects, and I haven't really connected that much with any one of them.
Yeah, right.
But
together they were incredible. Right.
And so in a lot of cases with games like Rare, I think that it was a collaborative effort instead of it being this one guy that was like making it happen. Now, it might have been, and there might have been one guy, and you sometimes hear this story of somebody who didn't get enough attention, and then the studio breaks apart, and he goes off on his own, and then suddenly you're hearing about this guy doing these incredible things while these other industry titans are floundering, and it turns out he was the talented one the whole time, and like no one knew it, right? But that's pretty unusual.
And maybe Re-Kalele or whatever the new remake thing.
Replayly?
Ukulele would be great.
Yeah,
totally redeem them.
Yuka Replayly.
Replayly. You're gonna see me wearing like a striped black and white costume with a little a little eye mask over, and a big bag over my shoulder, leaving the game store. Okay, and I'm sneaking out. Okay, to distribute the Yuka Replayly for free to everyone who bought Ukulele, because the fact that they're charging for the game finished to people who already bought it, they need to be tarred and feathered, and they will be. What is their game called? Platonic is their company. But I think that
I have no
Ethan's
opinion.
point is a hopeful one, because our gaming legends and heroes, they might be dead or dying, but the heroes of tomorrow are these small companies that I think they can kind of grow and maybe have a chance of maybe, never mind. Actually, no, I don't think so. I think that kids, they're going to play AI games, skibbity toilet simulator, and then they'll die.
They're going to go to the beach and play in the acidic ocean.
They're going to play in the acidic ocean and drink their aluminum juice.
Yeah.
And
everything's a tool.
There you
all
go.
things are just tools, and humans can use them in good or bad ways.
And we're all going to die. Yeah. We're all gonna
That is factually true, but not
I'm glad we could end on such a high note. Guys, if you're still here, why? What are you doing? Okay, I want you to hang on. If you're still here, I want you to take a long, hard look at your life and ask myself, why am I watching these three grown men soil themselves over video games for several hours? Why was this episode cut to pieces so bad? What did they say?
Where was Devin?
Where was Devin? You can
why
find
is
out
this episode only 30 minutes long.
You can find out the answer to all of these questions on our Patreon, probably. Quinn, plug the Patreon.
Patreon.com/PowerUpBros.
That's the one.
And we now have some content for it, I guess.
No, we're going to have no content.
If you want to hate us, go on over there.
No content at all. It's going to be empty, and you're going to pay us for nothing.
We did an episode without Devin.
We did it.
Yeah.
Saved the podcast.
We did. We saved the podcast.
This is going to be our most popular podcast ever.
This was wonderful. If you're still watching, you already did that.
I already did that.
Subscribe.
Good night, everybody.
Subscribe. Shout out
Bye.
to black, gay, trans women. We love you. Subscribe. Give us money.